the channel, and I figured today, instead of doing some farming like we have been in the last couple weeks, I figured today we'll jump in a truck. I am on American Truck Simulator, and for anyone asking, the truck I am driving is a Rezbuilt Peterbilt 389. You can find the Rezbuilt on the Steam Workshop. That's where I got mine. I also have the Rezworth and a few other trucks from Steam, but I actually did some looking because I didn't really want to jump on ATS too much without having a wheel again, but after some looking and some deep diving, I managed to figure out I can actually use one of my console controllers because I have a PlayStation on Xbox, and most of the links and everything I found were all Xbox controllers on the PC. I couldn't actually find anything on PlayStation controllers. But after some deep diving and figuring out what to do, I finally got a controller. So now I can actually drive the truck, and it's not as horrible as just using the keyboard. Don't get me wrong, it's still not great. There's still some touchy spots on the highway, especially when you get up to speed and then you're trying to do the slight little adjustments. It's not the nicest thing. But anyway, I figure we'll just do a quick little run today. We have a run going from here in Tucson up to... Let's take a quick look again. Also make sure it's... Yep, still there. Okay, we are taking an articulated hauler Volvo from Tucson to Phoenix for a whopping $259,000, and as long as we get over there and grab it in the next hour and 24 minutes, we're good to go. And I'm not worried about that because we're just going to pull out of here and go grab that and be on our way. Alright, but before we get too far, I do have also a, what is it? I do believe it's a 1066 horsepower Cat 3408 in this truck, so it's got some power behind it. I mainly use the little bit higher horsepower motors for the heavier loads. That way I don't have to fight with it as much going up and down hills and everything else. But let's give this a fire and so you can hear how it sounds. Map up so I know where I'm going. Put her in gear, and yes, for now, until I can get my wheel set up and everything back, I am running automatic, just so it's easier. Trying to hit the button multiple times to shift up once is a little bit of a pain in the butt, especially when you gotta try and work your gas and everything into it. So I just threw it on auto while I'm using a controller, and we're just gonna let it go. But rest assured, once I get a wheel again, I am absolutely putting my shifter back on and it's going to an 18 speed like it should be. But let's pull in real quick here. That looks like it's our load at the back. Get that click, take job. Oh, I was looking at the wrong way. Okay, we're gonna go to the outside view here a little bit. A little bit of a look at the paint on the truck I did. This is all... The paint on this truck is all just custom metallic paint that's already in the base game. It was just me doing some playing around with some colors. So the main one you'll see, depending on the light, is a dark blue, and then I got a teal on top of it, and I do believe I topped that with black. So that's how I got the look that I have here. I would have to go take a look again because it's been a little bit since I've done the paint on these trucks. I have a few trucks with this color. I also have a few trucks with the bright teal like I have on my farming sim trucks. button here to get in gear. Alright. Let's hit the road. And for anyone asking, yes, this is a full tri-drive. This isn't a drop axle truck or anything. Back in here, roll our window up. So at least this way, and sitting inside, I can make sure my signal lights are actually working. Done a couple little runs here to try and get used to the controller, because it is almost as bad as throwing me for a loop as the keyboard did, just not quite as bad. I find my main problem is how touchy the steering is. And I've even already gone into the settings and I've dropped my steering sensitivity down to, I do believe we were at it's been a long time since I drove a truck. Alright. So, wide turns. The truck I was running with earlier this morning was not as big and not as long, so just needed to get some used to that. And yeah, like I said, this is what I was meaning by the touchy steering on the highway. Like, I'm doing 30 miles under the speed limit and it's still, yeah. So yeah, after dealing with this, I have a feeling I'm going to be pretty excited to have my wheel back, so. But 119 miles now that we're on the highway. Let's get back in our lane here. Although I will say it is nice to be back on American Truck Sim and doing ATS. I've definitely missed this after not having a wheel for a bit, not knowing how to hook up a controller. Because I've thought about hooking controllers up before, because a buddy of mine was actually doing that before I gave him my old racing wheel. So, I don't know if he's actually hooked up the racing wheel yet, but one of these days, when he hooks up the wheel and I get used to this more, or I get a wheel again, we're gonna have to jump on, do a convoy, and I'll have to record that so we can hopefully make a video out of it. But until then, we're just gonna sit here and relax, take in the sights a little bit, and try not to fight too hard with the steering. case anyone's curious, I figure I should bring this up at some point. I'm not running JBX graphics, I'm not running any Project Next Gen, no graphic mods. This is literally just my computer as it is. I've got myself what I like to think is a pretty decent PC build. pre-built I bought from Staples. And it was a little more expensive than it probably should have been, but oh well, I'm not too worried about it. And also, when it comes to doing extra stuff, like having extra buttons and everything, I do have a Patriot box from ATS Accessories that I was using along with my full wheel setup and everything. When I put my rig back together, I'll go through and leave links and everything for everything I've got, like my shifter, my shift knob, all that stuff, the button box. But as for now, I am literally just using my keyboard, mouse. I do have my button box hooked up. Like I said, it's a Patriot box from ATS Accessories. It's just a little one, it's not the XL. And a PS4 controller. So that is pretty much what I'm using right now for my setup and my sim. But I do have a wheel stand, full set of, I do believe they are T3PM Thrustmaster pedals with a Thrustmaster TH8A shifter and a budget shift knob from ATS Accessories as well. And then before my wheelbase crapped the bed, I had it was a T300 servo base just on its own with an SCI wheel and the adapter from ATS Accessories. Touchy here in the curve, that's okay. But yeah, I honestly, if it comes to stuff for ATS, whether you need like a shift knob or a wheel adapter or you want a button box, they do have ones that are not quite as in-depth as mine. They have like a more basic one, but then they also have the XL box that is bigger than mine, has more buttons and everything on it. So, but then the thing is with that is it's also about twice the price for being twice the size. And I mean, personally, I would love to get myself an XL box just so I can take even more of my buttons that I need and not have to use the keyboard, right? Because that was the whole thing with the button box is immersion. So if I could get my hands on an XL box, that would be pretty neat. But I don't see that happening for a little bit. As well as a new wheelbase, that's gonna have to wait. But anyway, I've been rambling on way too much. Wasn't even looking at the map, paying attention, but we are 1 mile from our destination, so let's quickly that way. That car, get out of the way. Okay. How are we doing up there? We're good? Perfect. Alright, let's reset the camera. And we'll actually go up top. So I am sitting on top of the cab right now. This is personally one of my favorite views. Oh, there we go. Now the signal's on. But sitting up top is one of my personal favorite views, especially driving the Kenworth W900s when they have a studio sleeper on them. Okay, you're not going? Okay. You weren't gonna go. I was gonna go. Gotta love the AI in this game some days. But let's get around up here. And 2 minutes out. See how this goes. brake there. That's another thing. It's not just the steering, but it's also the brakes. Brakes are really sensitive when it comes to a controller. His first little bits, like it's not doing nothing, and then the second bit, once you get to the second half, it's like, I'll brake right now. It's like, well, okay then. I guess I get to deal with that. But, anyways, I would usually go with where do you need it, but I hate these yards. Some of these yards, like this one specifically, this style, just because it's such a pain, especially when you have a longer truck. Like, I like my little bit longer, stretched out, long nose Pete's. Personally, I like them a little bit lowered too. I like more of that like street truck look, but also I'm not afraid to make a bigger one, like one that actually, like you would take more off-road as opposed to just highway. This isn't, yeah, I figured we'd be to the one side, but that's okay. Alright. Hit the button on the box there, get our trailer down. Alright. And 143 miles in just under 3 hours. And under 20 gallons of fuel. I'd say that's not too bad. And then 50,000 experience from the trailer. 259 from the job after everything. That is a pretty decent run. Alright, well let's get out from under this trailer here and work our way out. Perfect. Alright. And I think actually what we'll do is I want to try and keep this video a little bit down time-wise, because I am still trying to work with Buddy about editing, as well as trying to find some decent editing software that even I can use here on my own. So we'll throw that on. Cycle those a couple times so they actually go off. So I'm talking about the lights there. And we'll shut her down, and I think that's what we'll call her for today. Thank you everyone for joining me on the trip.